This is the Boston Celtics news feed for Sunday, April 21st, 2019. Reporting from Boston, Massachusetts, I'm Corey Prescott for CLNS Media, the leading online provider of audio-video coverage of the NBA's winningest franchise. Happy Easter and happy Passover to everyone as CLNS Media welcomes you in for Game 4 today between the Boston Celtics and Indiana Pacers. The Celtics will look to complete a 4-game sweep for the first time under Brad Stevens as they take on the Pacers today in an elimination game, with the Milwaukee Bucks handling the Detroit Pistons last night with ease. The Celtics and Bucks now find themselves on a crash course for a second-round battle. Brad Stevens spoke yesterday on the difficulty of sweeping an opponent and the respect he has for the Indiana Pacers.
Good question. I don't know. I've never done it.
And
very few Celtic teams have when you start looking back through the books of even 7-game series ever. Only one in the last 10 years. So I think it's hard to do. There's a reason it's hard to do. Every team is really good in the playoffs. People make adjustments. Who knows what they're going to do tomorrow, right? But I know they're prideful, and I know that they play exceptionally hard and really well coached. And so I think we just have to play our best. And everything else, we'll see what happens. But if we're fortunate enough to move on, we'll figure that out when we get there.
Sweeping an opponent is clearly difficult, but do you think that the Celtics' talent will eventually cause the Pacers to fold today? Or is the prideful Indiana team going to put its best 48-minute effort forward to avoid being swept at home? With the Celtics 2.5-point favorites, bettors seem to be leaning toward a Celtics sweep. Does that betting line interest you? Or perhaps the 204.5 over-under is enticing. No game thus far has gone over 200 points combined. If you're interested in placing a bet, be sure to go to clnsmedia.com/win or use code CLNS50. You get 50% cash back on your first deposit through betonline.ag. That's betonline.ag. You can also bet on your mobile device, and BetOnline also hosts live in-game betting. Celtics fans, remember the starting five of Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Al Horford that was supposed to take the NBA by storm this season? This five-man unit played so horribly to start the season that Brad Stevens had no choice but to change things up. But after 82-plus games, this lineup has reemerged by outscoring Indiana by 42.9 points per 100 possessions in 10 minutes together. Although this is an extremely small sample size, Stevens has been able to use this lineup twice in crunch time situations versus Indiana this series. Plus, this lineup could be valuable should the Celtics advance to play a highly skilled Bucks squad. Find out if Stevens deploys this lineup today and if the Celtics can complete the sweep against the Pacers by tuning into CLNS Media for all your pre- and post-game coverage. Tip-off begins at 1 p.m. The Brooklyn Nets and Philadelphia 76ers clearly have no love lost for one another. By now, have you seen the clips? Joel Embiid, who had delivered a questionable foul to Jarrett Allen in Game 2 and had laughed about it post-game, fouls Allen. Jared Dudley, who didn't like the way Embiid had been delivering his fouls and had been in his own back and forth with Ben Simmons, shoves Embiid. Jimmy Butler reacts to Dudley's shove, and eventually both squads spill into the first row of the stands. Philly ended up winning 112-108 in a down-to-the-wire game, and now leads 3-1. A few other results from yesterday: Denver evened their series 2-2 versus San Antonio. Milwaukee is now on the verge of a sweep against Detroit, as is Houston against Utah. Following Celtics Pacers today, we had the Warriors at the Clippers, the Raptors at the Magic, and the Trailblazers at the Thunder. Excited to say today's newsfeed is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. You know LinkedIn. Chances are it helped you get noticed for a job in the past. Well, if your company is looking to hire for a position, and like the rest of us, you don't have time to wade through countless resumes and letters and references, turn to LinkedIn Jobs. Customers rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires. Post your job today at linkedin.com/garden and get $50 off your first posting. Take the guesswork and the busy work out of hiring. You've got enough on your plate. That's linkedin.com/garden. Terms and conditions apply. Follow CLNS on Twitter at CLNS Media, as well as at Celtics CLNS, and be sure to CLNSmedia.com. Subscribe to the Celtics newsfeed, both on iTunes and Stitcher, as well as the CLNS mobile podcast app. This has been Corey Prescott for Celtics Newsfeed.